Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing? Only you one?
Only me one.
How many students usually come?
Normally 2 and 3.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Good, thanks. I'm Deandra Hutchison.
Okay. I am Denise Dorset. I wonder, just I have to sit up front here then.
Yes, so she can see.
Okay. Good stuff. Let me write your name. Spell your name again.
DeAndra
Uh-huh.
Hutcheson.
Okay. And your company?
B.O.B.
B.O.B. Email?
Deandra Dean, DEAN,
Mm-hmm.
@hotmail.com.
And cell phone number?
465-3911.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I just passing this over.
Okay.
We also have another one.
Somebody else?
Another two.
Oh, sorry. We could have done this by Skype then. I mean Zoom. I thought she said the students came in.
I'm under the weather today. I usually come in though.
Okay, because I mean it's easier if we just do it by the link, if that's easier for you guys. And then come in here.
That'll be good.
That's easy for you or no?
I mean, it's fine with me, but I know they said it was optional.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do it.
For me as well.
Okay, so we'll do it by the link next week. That's fine.
No problem.
I think it's another, I think Lavette is missing and maybe someone else.
Okay.
So Lavette normally comes to class, so
Right.
I don't know, I guess you can ask her.
Confirm with her.
Right.
Okay.
But it's fine with me.
Okay, let me just take the register because I didn't realize there were other persons. Give me the other names, please.
Alicia Wilson.
Okay.
Alicia Wilson.
Okay, what is your company?
Butterfield.
Butterfield.
Email.
Butterfield
Trust. The email is HY AC IAN
Mm-hmm.
62
Mm-hmm.
at hotmail.com.
And number?
557
Mm-hmm.
2048.
2048. Okay,
Yes.
next person.
Siobhan Kelly.
Spell it for me.
CHEVONNE.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
KELLY.
Mm-hmm.
Company is Scotiabank.
Uh-huh.
My email is my name, Siobhan K at hotmail.com.
And telephone?
421
Mm-hmm.
1866.
Okay. Anyone I'm missing or no? I'm good?
Yes, that's everyone online.
Okay. Now, I know you guys would have already covered units 1 to 9. Is that correct? Go with the camera. Somewhere here.
Yes.
Okay. You have covered units 1 to 9. We're doing unit 10 today, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have 10 to 14? Because my book may be a bit old.
Yes.
So I have to follow.
10 on 79, page 79. I don't know what page it was.
10 is on 79. Now let me find my handy dandies. Yes, can't make it. Okay, no, my 10 is 68. So I'm a bit, this book may be, just so we'll be on the same page, is it General Principles of Trust Accounting?
Yes.
Good. And after we complete this units, the student should be able to understand the trustee's duty to account, the fundamental concepts of trust accounting and the differences between income and capital and the calculations related to both.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
That's it. 1 second, please.
Uh-huh.
For the other students, when you go to the end of your book, do you have a chapter or unit 14? Because I don't have one in my own.
That's
I
what
13.
yeah, I didn't have a 14 as well. So I don't know. What 14, what's your 14
Oh,
is?
no, you're correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So we only have 10 through 13.
Good. Okay. I saw it outlined as unit 10 through 14, and I said I didn't have a 14, so I thought you all had a new book.
Okay.
No, I saw that too, but I didn't check it. But
Okay.
you're right. It
Yeah.
stops at 13.
Okay, so just for introduction purposes, my name is Denise Dorset, and I'll be taking you through units 10 to 13. So we know we end at 13, and I think you'll have a review with Ms. Archer thereafter.
Yes.
I'm an attorney and I did trust law most of my career with offshore banking and company law. And I try to specialize in that area as well within the law.
Excellent.
Now, for what you can recap for me for unit 9. Now, my teaching style is that we actually read the chapter and we break down the chapter as we go. I don't know what you would have experienced with your other tutors, but that's how I usually conduct the lesson. Is that how, I mean, it's easy for you to comprehend like that and you'd understand where you're going. You understand that from unit 1, you would have gotten the outline of what this trust, introduction to trust would have been all about. And we break out each chapter or each section in each chapter thereafter. So you would have had the role and responsibilities of a trust administrator in your last class. And who can tell me now for the the role of the trust administrator, was the overall responsibility for the administration of the trust?
The trustees.
The trustees, the guidance and oversight as well.
The trust administrator.
The trust administrator. So who now exercises, Who, in the exercise of the discretion by the trustees, is normally shared by members of who? What they have? What do they have? The professional trustees have a what to exercise their discretion?
Oh,
Power.
the duty of.
No, they have a body that makes these decisions. What their body is. How do the trustees come to a decision?
Based on a body.
Okay, well then.
All right.
What is it called? What the body is called? Where they make resolutions, they use their discretion, all of that stuff.
The board?
It's a board.
No.
No.
What is it? What is it? Mr. Higgs, what you said it is?
It's a board of trustees.
Yeah, no, what is it called?
Board of trust administrators.
No, they call what they call them? Because you have different what?
The
Committees? You remember that trust?
It's for trust committee.
Yes.
Trust committee.
We have trust committees, right? Yeah, so the trust committees it's made up of so many persons because they have to come to a decision, right?
Yes.
To decide how they're gonna move forward. How the trust administrator, how would they be able to properly guide and direct the trust? What they need to know?
The trust instrument.
Yes, and what is in there?
The instructions on how to manage the trust.
Right, so the terms and who they could give information to. Right. So what is a discretionary, what is discretionary and what is a must in the trust for the trusted trustee? They
The
have,
powers is discretionary.
and the duty
The
is
duties is a must.
okay.
A must.
All right. And what is the section that deals with right to information for the beneficiaries of the Trustee Act? We have that section, you can't forget that. That's like foundation.
Yes, that's right.
What that one is? Section what? It up in the 80s. Yes, 83. Section 83 gives us the right to information, right? You remember what is the section that deals with insurance? The trustee can be insured against what?
Liability.
Right, but not what? Because that insurance covers them for breach?
no.
Okay.
No.
So where they get this insurance, where they pay this insurance from?
From the trustee fund.
From the trust fund. What section is that? Y'all did it early on, eh? Yes. So these little triggers you need to make sure you know. It helps you with just when you formulating your answers, you put that in there. It seems like you know all things, eh? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so like we said, sorry. One person came and give me a moment. That we were discussing that since they're on the link, you all don't have to come here. We could do a link if it's easier for you.
I'd still like to.
Because you may be the only one.
Oh, because you like online.
No, I mean, we could do online. It's going to be the same thing, interactive, and everything else.
Going forward for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
Yes, but my revision, I will be here.
Yeah.
Miss Archer will do the revision, so you'll be here.
Yes.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
get these.
yeah.
Gotta get classes,
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's easy once we go over and you keep going back because you have to fall back to move forward.
Okay.
All right. So you continue to write that and then let's start. So we're only going to do unit 10 today, so we'll be quick, eh? This isn't too hard, and we could do a little review so we can see that y'all are on this up to speed with unit 10. What that means is you know unit 1 to 9.
No,
Yes?
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I usually try to pull you back from the previous units so that you continue because you need to remember to move forward. Yes, okay?
Yep, a month.
Okay.
In a month, like 3 months.
But this easy, if you know the other units, these are the ones come easy because this is the ending. Okay, so we're gonna start, Mr. Higgs, you could start reading for us.
No problem. I still want it. Okay. Trustees duty to account. Can you all hear me online?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome. I'm
Yes.
your voice.
Excellent.
The trustee has a general duty to account for trust property.
What is the trust property?
The trust property is the asset
That's
inside the trust instrument.
And they could be what?
It could be paintings, properties.
So they could be personal
right.
or what?
Property.
Personal or what type of property?
Commercial, residential.
Real.
Real.
Oh, real property. Okay.
Real property,
So you have
yes.
personal, that means that's something like paintings and stuff. And real
Jewelry.
is
Okay.
land, eh?
Yeah, I gotta learn these legal jargons.
Yeah. So we talk about, let's put jewelry so you'll know.
Yes.
All right. Don't worry about the hieroglyphics. You could understand it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the trustee has a general duty to account for trust property. So he should know what is inside the,
Instrument.
what is the assets, right?
Yes.
So
Right.
so what is cash? What is all these things? You should have that outlaid from you get started, because you should know your instrument and you should know what you're dealing with, eh? Okay, go ahead.
The beneficiaries have a right to information regarding the status of the trust, including the trust accounts.
So that's important, eh? The beneficiaries have a right to information. And that's including the trust accounts. What are information they don't have the right to?
Minutes.
The minutes?
The trust committee minutes.
Okay, what about any communication correspondence? They could see that?
No.
Okay, why we don't want them to see that?
Because they will try to dictate it.
What they could try to do?
Dictate the terms of it and how it should be managed.
And what could happen? What they could bring you, when they start looking at with how you deliberate, then would you open yourself up to?
Lawsuit.
Yeah, because they can say you favor one over the other when you making your deliberations, and they may be privy to some information they should not have, eh? So that's what they have, and when they ask for this, what they have to do?
Send an
Yeah, but who could provide this? Who could pay for it?
or the trust
They
account.
will,
No, when you ask for this as a beneficiary, you have to pay.
right, the beneficiary
Provide
also
it.
pay.
What, it doesn't come out of the trust?
No,
No,
if you ask me for this and you all went over that, they have to pay for that.
Okay.
Okay, so they have a right to information, section 83, and if they get the trust accounts, when they request it, you could ask them to
Okay,
pay for
I
it.
have a question on that.
Mhm.
If they request the account information and so forth,
Mhm,
right? This is only my personal opinion.
mhm,
Because it's their trust that was made for them.
mhm.
Why they have to pay for the information is just like, I mean, you know what? Don't answer, because I just remember if you get a statement from the bank.
They could
you gotta
charge
pay
you,
for
yeah,
it. Yes.
okay. All
I
right,
answered my own question.
yeah, you're good to go. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Both the income beneficiaries, life tenants, and the capital beneficiaries remain the men. What that means? Remain
So
the men.
so capital beneficiaries is life tenants. So in this instance, let me draw it down so you could understand. There's a husband and a wife, and the husband owns the house. The wife's name isn't on it. The husband dies, but he says in his will, this is my life tenant. She could stay here for the remainder of her life, but this house really for my children.
Okay. Oh.
So they the remainder men.
Mm.
So they can't do anything with this house until she dies.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's easy?
Yes.
Good.
Require information on how the investments are made. Capital is the accumulated, income is generated, and the trust is being administered and managed generally.
Okay, so we understand how this works. So if I am a income beneficiary, that means I'm a life tenant. So if he left this house for the wife and there was rent coming into this, she gets that income.
Wow.
Mm.
However, the capital is generated here for the children. And what is the capital in this instance?
The capital.
The house increases in value, eh?
The
Right.
equity.
As long as this person maintains it. Yes.
What if that person doesn't maintain?
So now you could step in because you will receive an income. So you are required to keep it. You can't waste the trust property.
Now remember, a house is not a apartment. So if she's staying in the house, it isn't generating.
Right. So if he didn't make provisions and
Uh-huh.
she can't maintain the house,
Yes.
you'll say, well, you can't maintain the house. So you may have, because you can't allow it to go to nothing as the trustee, because the trustee is going to now be responsible
for the capital.
Right. So you have to ensure that this is taken care of from the trust fund.
Okay.
So if she was supposed to get $10 and she running the house down to nothing, what we could do? We can take this $10 and fix the house. Okay. And she have nothing to get, and so she'll live in there and drink water if she has to, but we're not gonna be able to assist her because she can't maintain the house unless they make provisions to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we know capital and we know income. Income is generated and the trust is being administered and managed generally. So if $10 in here, who have to get paid? The trustee needs some, because this have to be, we already have an annual trustee fee that we're gonna get. And we may ask for 1% of your portfolio up to 10% according to how big it is. Yeah. So, and that's how we get, but we set our fees from the get-go. We may manage your portfolio thereafter, and that's a separate part of in the instance of banking aid. So we may split because we have a trust section and we have a banking section. So the trust will set up the banking section and the trust have to pay the bank for managing. We may have a set fee over here, but you get a percentage of this portfolio for managing.
So question, the Penny Savings Bank, was that a trust bank or just a bank?
No, that just was a little bank, like a credit, little credit union. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Trust accounts often comprise the capital statement and income statement and represent the accounting of the income and capital within a trust, and the decreases and increases to such income and capital for a specific period.
So we could have increases or decreases, eh?
Yes.
Why we'll have income increases, where we'll have increases more likely?
In the capital?
Right.
If
so
it's a house in the capital.
Okay, so let's use some stocks. We on Wall Street now.
Okay. Stocks and bonds.
Right. We was in FTX. What happened to us?
Oh,
we going down, eh?
yes.
Okay, but now we went with Elon Musk. How Elon doing?
Down.
Oh, well, we going down. So we were hedging.
Elon Musk got the
Yeah.
Going down?
Yeah. So
Oh,
now,
yes.
yeah, we were in Apple. How we looking?
Oh, we looking awesome.
Yeah, we going up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what that means in any event is our income, we may be getting some dividends. So our income increases as well as what we doing. We adding to our portfolio. Eh?
Right.
So
diverse. Right. So we divest in everything and our portfolio is increasing. So what our portfolio is. Our capital, eh?
Yes.
And our dividends and all that profits and stuff. Right. So that's what happening here. We could do it like that. Or we could say we buying land in the Bahamas, we increasing the capital, but it may be vacant land, so we get not enough from it. But we increasing the capital notwithstanding.
Whilst we on the land issue, right? Because you know with FTX, they suing like for 100 different properties they have all around the world.
Right.
In a trust, and like that trust fund, like they say, purchase land in the Bahamas. Can in this jurisdiction, can we also, for the trust purpose, buy land outside of the Bahamas? If it's in the Bahamas.
Yeah, so we just holding, everything may just be holding here for our tax attractiveness. We may just have the trust here.
Yeah, so.
because we want to fall under the laws of the Bahamas. But these trusts operate all over the world.
So my question on that is, so would we, since you're dealing with real property, would you have to, like how they had properties all over the world, did they, or would we have to, as a trust company, have to form a holding company for real property and just hold it as and just use that to collect, have all the properties in one?
Right, because what, can the trust hold property?
No, I said if the trust will have to, if we're buying multiple properties.
Right, so usually we use,
we
use holding company. But we could form it here.
Yeah, that's what I mean, form it, a trust within the company.
Yeah, so you could have a holding company, which is the umbrella, and then you could have several sub companies that hold in different assets, because when one failed, the rest of these could still be standing.
Exactly.
So you could do it like that.
Because what puzzled me is, I noticed that's the same model that the FTX did, but they're suing each and every one of them, the subsidiaries as well as the parent company.
Yeah, because you can't sue. This only the holding. You have to go at each one of these separately.
Okay.
Because he only holding shares. Remember now, the company don't own nothing.
Yeah.
The shareholders don't own anything. It's the company that owns it as a whole. So who's the shareholder?
The people who buy.
So the holding company up here is the shareholder. FTX.
Yes.
And all these are. So you can't come up here if I only have shares in here.
But isn't that like the reason why persons have limited companies? So that once you have a limited, I think it's limited, or IBC is where.
So you have limited liability.
Yes.
Right. And so once you have a limited company and you have companies underneath that, like you say, all the other companies could fail, but they just can't touch the main set of money in this limited company. Is that the same thing?
Because we have separation. So there's a separation of legal personality. The company is separated from its shareholders. That's the base of company law.
Yes.
You can't. So my name, Denise, I own a house. Yes?
Yes.
You could get that house because that's Denise own.
Yeah.
The company owns a house. Denise, you suing, and she's a shareholder. Can you get that house?
No.
Because what that means, I only have a share of this house, eh?
Yes.
Right. So is that why then persons who have houses sometimes put it in the company name?
Right. So usually, I mean, Bahamians catching on now, but you know, that's what happens. You don't put anything in your name anymore.
No.
So, right. So when I get an accident on these streets with the little minibus, I don't have to worry. You could sue me because I don't have nothing in my name. And you could just go after my salary and I may be making the bare minimum, $250 a week. But I going up to 260, so I don't know how much longer you will wait to get that. But I can stretch that over 20 years, and I can tell you about $5 a month because everybody else own that. Yes?
Yes.
Yes, so that's all. So when you knock me in the road, you have nothing to get. You got to go by FTX, and I only a shareholder, and I don't know when you can get that money because everything done tie up.
Yes.
Yes? All right. Any other questions? Good. Okay. So the period, go ahead. I don't suppose we read it.
The period for which trust accounts will be made in is dependent upon the particular accounting year that the trustees elect. Although the accounting period may be traditionally set to coincide with the anniversary of the date in which the trust was originally created.
So we have a trust period. And so the trust started today, November, what today is? 19th?
Yes, ma'am.
So the trust started here, but you could choose when you want to start the accounting period because it could go to November 18. That could be the trust year. You could say from here to 23, November 23. But you could just say, no, we won't start the trust year until June. Yeah, it's up to you how you choose to do it. Okay, go ahead.
The trust period may be set for a particular period in which beneficiaries may be required to make certain tax filings or prepare tax reports. Once selected, the trust period should remain fixed and ought not to be changed by the trustees unless authorized by the trust instrument.
So we will make sure that our trust period coincides with when the beneficiaries have to make, because they may be persons in certain tax jurisdictions. They've reported they have income coming from the trust. So we want to make sure that the period, our trust period, is for their purposes, because you don't want to be outside of this period trying to create accounts for them to now make their filings. So make sure the trust period is for the benefit of the beneficiaries.
Okay, I have a question. Okay. Bahamas is a jurisdiction. In America, we have American investors. Do they have to file their profits from the trust as beneficiaries with their tax system?
Right. So if you receive an income, you don't live here, and the income coming over there to you.
No, it's staying in the Bahamas.
Well, then that they not subject. What is here, they don't get taxed on. No. They get taxed on what they carry over. Right.
Okay. So only what we send there.
Right, but they should disclose their beneficiary of a trust or whatever. So whenever the money come in, it won't be like you just trying to report it now.
Okay, so that's their part. They'll have to deal with their lawyers.
Right.
You don't have to deal with that part.
No, you they have to get professionals to help them because you're not an expert in their jurisdiction.
Exactly.
You only could help them, but over here. Yeah.
So I have a question. How is it that, okay, you have a trust account, right? They set it up, let's say it's JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley, whoever it is, right? I see where there are times when the trust is not funded. How does that come about, please?
So what should happen? They should have an initial trust funding. Usually they start off with $100.
No, like nothing in the account.
So what is the purpose of the trust if it's not funded? They have something in it, anything?
No.
So it's a dormant trust?
Yeah.
It's not
well, this is a portfolio where they have several different bank accounts. But on the account that they just opened, like I want to say they opened it in August. Well, let's say July. And up to October, it's still not funded. So what's the purpose in doing something like that?
So what is their intention, to fund the account, or they're waiting on certain things to happen? Because I can set up a company in the anticipation that I'm going to start a business, and it's not yet. So the trust isn't really settled yet, eh?
Okay.
So the trust has to be settled. And how is it settled? How we settle a trust?
How you settle a trust? Oh, you through the courts?
No.
With property.
When we start out, we settle in the trust. So it could be with, what we start with?
Oh, personal and real
so
assets.
That's how it's settled. So if nothing in it, is it settled?
No.
No, because you've not passed anything over to the trustee the whole, eh?
Okay. Okay.
So the trustee really isn't acting in any capacity now, because what am I doing as a trustee?
If I don't have anything, okay.
So that's a sham then?
No, because nothing has started. They want to get started, but nothing has happened yet.
So when does it become a sham, or when is it questionable as to, okay, so I have this account for, let's say 6 months, and nothing has happened, no transactions. Right. Will it then be considered a sham?
Well, it's only a sham if you're doing something, eh? If nothing is being done, it can't be considered a sham.
Okay.
Question on that point, right? Since you've been in trust for a while, you know about real estate trust investment.
Right.
I've been calling around, there's hardly any trust companies that deals with that, right? But my question on that point is, can I set up a real estate trust investment without buying the property first? Or I have to wait till I purchase the property?
Right, so what you settle in the trust with?
Yeah,
what you trying to do? You managing trust? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, managing the trust properties. So,
but who you managing it for?
That's the thing. I try to set it up.
So you really a managing company. Yeah. So you get a license through where?
Yeah, central bank.
Yeah, so you really don't want a trust. You want to be a manager of a trust, eh? So you want to be a trustee more or less, or a real property development company or something. Yeah, so that'll be different.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on.
So under the Trustee Act 2013, a trustee of an express trust must maintain reliable accounting records in relation to the following items. A, all sums of money received and expended in relation to the administration of the trust and the matter in respect of which such receipts and expenditures takes place, inclusive of all sales, purchases, and other transactions. B, the assets and liabilities of the trust.
Okay, let me see how much we have. Okay, no. So we know that so what we talking about here now, before he moves on, what are we talking about with this? The trust, a trustee of an express trust must maintain reliable accounting records. What you have to do? What that is?
It's basically a balance sheet.
So you have trust what? You have a trust account?
Trust account.
So anyone working in trust or no? Yes?
I am.
Okay, so what y'all have? What y'all do? How y'all report to the beneficiaries? What y'all have to have? Yeah, so you have a trust account and you
trust statements.
Y'all start out with your assets. So what your assets are, whatever real or personal you have, then you'd say what? That's your balance sheet now, right? But then you'll have an income and expense statement. What we call that?
Income statement.
Okay, what gonna happen here? What we can tell you what happened? What stocks come in, what dividends and all that, and what we pay out. We pay the trustee fees, we pay government fees for companies, pay some broker who's our custodian for doing the trades and stuff. And then we put down here what we had to pay out to what? To the who? Right, we have to put something in here to say where the capital payments went out, something like that. And then we pull that back into our balance sheet. But we have a trust account and we usually report these according to how every quarter, you'll give the beneficiary some trust accounting. If they
I haven't reached that far in the game to know what that is yet.
So you usually, like, you update your portfolio. You have a portfolio sheet on your right?
Is that when you say the portfolio, we have something called AUAs, is that the same thing? I think AU, and that is where we would input the monthly statement values. So if the client has $1 million, we put that in each month.
Right. And so, but then you have to do a reporting, So you tell them what was spent and all that. You give them a statement if that's a part of what you promised to do. But that will come through your banking side, because usually they have trust companies usually have a banking side because they really don't want a trust company, Their main business is investment banking. They use that as a complement to their business in order to keep you right in their portfolio, So that's why it's separated, but we really only interested in investment banking. We don't care about trust. Our money is the bank. So as long as we keep you buying stocks, and that's where the big money is, in the investment side of it, that's the banking.
Okay, I was wondering where the trust and bank.
Right, so we really only offering you that complimentary service. We don't charge you even money on that, really, because this way we get our money, So we work hand in hand. You're responsible for the legal aspects, make sure everything in order. And this one, you're responsible for finance. And that's all we'd be interested in, finance and the trust. But we have to make sure somebody has sense to keep us in line. And we don't do anything untoward. But we have to make sure that this is happening. So when they give us the statement, we create the trust statement from here. So you inputting from the bank, right? Who said it?
I did.
Okay, who's that?
Alicia.
Okay. So Alicia, you're getting statements from, you working in a bank?
At the trust, yes.
Right, so you getting that from your banking side.
Right.
Ensure that the trust is, you do it, what you doing here? What we say you doing? You have been reliable what? Reliable accounting. We just reliable accounting records, eh?
Yes.
So we have to make sure we have all sums of money received and expended, all of these things. So these people, when the settler gives you his money, he wants you to continue to do what he was doing, talking to you directly as the bank. So me as the banker, I said, listen, you don't want somebody come up here to take everything you have. You don't want all your creditors, your wife who you may not be with. You may want to provide for the wrong people over here. And so what I could offer you is a trust. And I've managed this trust from my trust company. You see?
Okay.
So I'm the banker. I have a trust company here. I could incorporate a trust. I could settle a trust for you. However, this trust can't hold things, so I could incorporate a company. You see how much money I'm making? It's still separated. I can incorporate a company, and the company can hold your assets, real and personal. Now, banker here gets instructions up here. So the directors of the company is going to say, we resolve that we could invest or we could purchase land, because who's the shareholder in this company?
The beneficiary is.
The trustee is the trustee.
Yeah, the trustees is
the shareholder of the company
on behalf of the beneficiary.
So the trustee is the legal owner, and who's the equitable owner?
The beneficiary.
And the beneficiaries could be, yes, yes, and he could hold some powers, eh? He could still reserve some powers to himself.
He can.
I
mean, yes, he could.
Yes.
But I mean, what Ms. Archer said is that would throw up a red flag.
Right, but we have laws that now protect him that will not throw up a red flag, because we now created a section. What that section is? What we have now, section what? You all went over this? Let me make sure I'm not going ahead.
Please tell me what that section.
You all have the settler directed trust. You all have that? You all did section 13 of the trustee amendment. Yeah, you all on trustee amendment.
That's our trust.
Where they inserted 81A, something like that. You all remember that? Or that don't come yet?
That's which one the amendments? 1998.
No, this is the Trustee Amendment Act 2013, where they inserted 81A with settler directed trust.
I wonder if that's it. Oh, see, they saying it now.
What they say?
Right in section 2. On the next page. From the from where I stopped. Yeah, they mentioned it just now.
Okay, but I mean, where the settler,
we haven't read it yet.
You all haven't done that yet.
No, we just saying this now.
Okay, let me make sure y'all. Yes, it right here. Y'all on this in your section 2, unit 2. Under section 13 of the Trustee Amendment Act, which inserts a new section 81A.
What page are you on, please?
Unit 2. That's on.
Unit 2?
My page is 21. I don't know what page you are.
Okay.
Use 21. Okay.
We have a trustee who could be a power holder. We have power holders, and the settler may be, he could direct the trust. So he could now tell you where to invest. You all see that?
Page 24.
You're okay. 24.
That's Act 11.
Okay, so I know it was something.
It's Act 11. Okay.
You all remember that now? Would this be considered a sham? No way.
No.
The laws to protect it. So we have a power holder, or we could have a settler directed trust in this instance, and 81A covers us.
Right.
So you see how it ties back. That's why I say you have to remember these little things. Okay. Okay. I don't have your name. Lavette?
Yes.
Okay, Lavette, you can start reading for us. And then let's just put our little order in. So Lavette will continue and then she will stop at in calculating after trust income. And then DeAndrea will continue from there to capital. And Alicia will go from capital to the end of that page only, but capital beneficiary only, and then Siobhan will read the last one. You read into, okay, you got to remember when I give you the order.
And calculating.
The gross income. Right. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Section 2 of the Trustee Amendment Act 2013 requires that accounting records A, correctly explain all transactions. B, enable the financial position of the trust to be determined with reasonable accuracy at any time. C, allow financial statements to be prepared. D, include the underlying documentation, including invoices, contracts, and receipts necessary to facilitate A, B, and C. In order to be considered reliable accounting records under the Act, additionally, there is a documentation retention requirement for accounting records and any related documentation under the Trustee Amendment Act 2013. Trust account records must be retained for a minimum period of 5 years for an express trust. Failure to comply with this minimum statutory requirement will result in the trustees on the non-compliant trust being liable for a summary offense under the Act and punishable to fine not exceeding $2,000.
Okay, so our trust accounts should do what? Explain all transaction correctly, eh?
Yes.
Because when we acting as a trustee, we acting as a who? We are a prudent man in our own affairs, eh?
Yeah, fiduciary.
Right, so we have a fiduciary duty. So if you have money in the bank and you get an accounting record and you want to say, well, listen, my little 2 cents in the bank, I want to make sure they put everything there. But I don't remember paying you. I don't remember charging this. So explain how this come about. And then you managing my money. So show me where I spend. So show me my BPL receipt. Show me my cable bill. Attach all of these to the statement. Eh? Show me now what you get in. Because what you have? You got your statement from who? Who on the JP Morgan? You got your statement from who else? Morgan Stanley.
UBS.
Yes.
I
need to see that in Fidelity locally. Let me see all them things there. Put all them things together. Prepare a financial statement so I could see where I'm at. So what I get when you prepare a financial statement, you can show me what I make this quarter, what I spend this quarter, and all the stuff like that. Because you could do this in quarterly things, eh? And then you go put all the documents, and then you could say, this where we could determine whether we're going to do what. No, what we have to do, because this trust may provide that we have to give out income. So every quarter I should have something to work with. Eh?
Oh yeah.
So I will know as a who's going to make this decision?
The trustee.
The trustee.
The trust committee.
Yes, the trust committee, because the trustee is a company and they appoint these committees to make decisions. Eh? So the decision making may be with a trust officer. And who else?
Administrator.
Is the administrator. Who else on here?
Investor. Investment banker.
You have a portfolio manager?
Yes.
Right, so we may just have a couple of people here. They will base on what we prepared. We have to prepare something for them to consider. Eh?
And then depending on the investment, you also need a compliance officer.
Right, so, but compliance can come before we get started, eh?
Yes.
We can make
Yeah.
it
No,
done.
but I mean, he's on the committee.
Right, so we can make sure everything is done and
Yes.
we could put him on.
Mhm.
So based on these financial statements, can I pay out any dividend, anything from the trust and stuff? What the trustees, what they get,
Income?
right? And what will determine how they get in this?
It all depends on if you have a profit.
Right, but what determines whether I should consider this? The trust, right?
Yeah, the trust.
Right.
And so the trust instrument may say provide income. You may say based on this financial statement,
Mhm.
we can't come at this time because this capital is shaky. You see? But who makes that decision?
The trust committee.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a question on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just in the instance, if the beneficiary is supposed to get an income,
Mm-hmm.
but if the trust committee paying out to the professionals on the trust committee is exceeding the profit that they cannot give out income, can the beneficiary make a request that they need to downsize or whatever with some of the professionals so that they can get their income?
How they can
No.
How they can do that? How would they be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, based on once they get the financial statement, where all this money is going.
But how the beneficiaries will now take this to say y'all are not managing my trust properly.
They got carried to court.
So they can sue them, eh?
Yes.
What they suing them for?
Mismanagement of the trust.
So what that is? Would we call that in trust?
Breach
Right.
of trust.
So why we suing you for breach? Because what you doing? So you
not
conflicted,
beneficiating
eh?
the beneficiaries.
What are you, what? You are a fiduciary first, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what shouldn't conflict?
That remunerations to the income of the beneficiaries.
Your personal,
Yeah.
It's not an investment.
we gotta make sure we have the language.
Yes.
Yes, personal what?
What
is it called? Somebody.
Personal, not conflict
Your
of
personal
interest.
interests,
Personal
yes,
interest, yes.
shouldn't conflict with.
With your fiduciary
Right.
duties.
So as the bank, you have my portfolio, and just as you sit in this context, the bank has a house. Yes, they repossess my house.
Mm-hmm.
What should happen? They should go on the open market, eh?
Right.
So I could get the best price. So when you sell it, I may still get $2. Yes? But what,
Yeah, don't happen.
what the officer of the bank do? Sell it to their friend?
Yep.
And I owe the bank $10. What that is?
That's a conflict of interest.
So what that
Breach, yeah.
Breach of trust.
That's in this instance, what that is? You breach of your fiduciary duty as a banker, eh?
Yes.
So that's the same thing would happen in here. What they doing?
Yeah,
They making sure they line their pockets.
Yes.
To the detriment of
The beneficiary.
the trust.
Yeah, the trust.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question. Okay, like how you saying it's important to check the financial statements quarterly as the trustee.
But you're not gonna trust. You go create them quarterly based on your reporting period.
So if me now, let's say I was a trust officer, I have this trust, I go into this financial statements and I see that their capital is falling.
What you supposed to do?
I supposed to trust committee then.
So you see the trust committee now needs to be aware. You were the administrator.
This trust right here is not performing well and we can't.
Yeah, so y'all need to revisit how you have the investment set up because they're losing money.
So by then you can't go back to the deed, right?
So you supposed to, if that's your money, because that's what you do, and you mining your money. You don't let your money go. Yes? And you see FTX failing, and you could try to pull the people, you pull your money out.
Yeah.
So if FTX failing, you don't hear that you've been reading the papers, because as a professional trustee, we hold you to a higher standard, eh? You're supposed to be mining to see what's going on with the investments. So you have to make sure that the investments you divest your money, you pulling out, you watching it, and you hire people to help you in that instance. because you can't, you're not purporting to be a banker or whatever. You're just a trustee. Yeah. So you have to make sure
that you're aware of what's going on.
You must be aware. Yes.
I have a question on that point as well. Well, it said in the FTX, Steve, what's the guy name?
Fried. Ozan?
No, Stephen Curry, Michael Jordan, and at least a couple of celebrities.
Right.
Right. Now, what if they had did their investment through a trust? Would they had some form of protection?
But I mean, the trustee could only, so the trust, so what I'm saying is, the blind could see, yes, in this instance, because too many red flags around. So by then you shouldn't be in this risky investment.
But then again, I just going back to what you're saying, the professional trustee should have been on top of his game. So when the first red flag came up,
right,
they should have been like, hey, something ain't right with this investment.
We go pull.
Exactly.
So what happens is you now will be, as a trustee, you depending on these people who you hired, your investment, the custodian, all these people. So they have to keep you, and you reading the papers because you got to be reading the papers. Eh?
Yes.
You have to be on top of it. You have people just to deal with these things. So the trust instrument also guides you as when the settler sell the trust, if he's not in charge of investments, because this may be settler directed. So in that case, Stephen Curry may be the power holder and he may be making the decision. So then what happens? If he's making decisions and they fail, who at fault? Yeah, because we don't have no power to invest.
No, but what I'm saying in a scenario like that, whereas, okay, Stephen Curry, we use him as an example, right? If he wanted to make an investment into, and he went through a trust company, where he would have been the settler and the beneficiary, and the professional trustees to manage it.
Right. So the professional trustee, he had to tell me from the trust instrument,
yes,
what I could invest in. Remember, you can give me a what? What would we start off with if you're not? What you gonna give me? Because I'm a stranger to you. When you start the trust, what you provide me with?
Trustee? Or what?
What you tell me? Because
the asset.
No, something legally binding. What you give me? What is in legally binding that you give me at the beginning?
Trust instructions.
What that called?
The deed?
No, what that called? That's the only basic one. We going way back.
Yes, I remember that, but I can't. Right there, I have to go all the way back. I did write that down. That's why I remember that.
What we have? What that is? Give me a letter. We playing.
E.
Legal interest.
Trust guidance. Trust.
No.
Give me another letter.
A.
No.
I.
Give me another letter. We don't have one wrong. Go ahead.
What's the
T?
There's an L.
L?
T, you said?
Yes. Letter of instruction.
Letter of instructions.
Yes.
Letter of what?
No.
Letter of wishes or letter of
wishes. Letter of wishes.
You always almost up?
Letter of wishes.
Yes. So we start out. Is this legally binding?
No.
No.
That's what you wish to have.
Right. So what you would tell me is, I have a special child. I don't want you to invest in no risky investments. I want you to make sure my wife is, you can put all these things in here.
No.
Now, my boy, he like to smoke. Watch him. You give him money in drips. And then what I will convert this to as the trustee for the file. Because I get instructions now. I want to put something on the file.
That's it.
We're going to go again?
The trust deed or trust instrument.
Another letter. Something different.
What the letter is?
M?
That's the first letter is an M. Minute? No.
Memorandum.
Yes, of what?
Articles.
Memorandum
So
of what? This
wishes.
yes.
Oh, okay,
Remember that?
memorandum of wishes?
Yeah, you remember?
Oh, yes.
You remember the trustee prepares that?
Yes.
That's a file that he puts there. Remember, the trustee does this and the settler does this. This is not legally binding. What is this? Only a what? This a guide, eh? To tell me how I should, because I don't know him no more than Adam, and I need to get to know him, and whoever reading the file will be guided.
So there.
And this how I could, who could make the decision based on what they have here? The trust committee, eh?
Yeah.
They need to read this. This isn't, they don't hold this to the letter, but they know exactly how to work around it. Okay, so we make sure we have all those things in place. And what is how long we have to keep these trust accounts? How long we have to keep them for a minimum of
5 years?
That's a minimum, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Unless we have to pay.
Penalties or fine.
Yes, a minimum. Yes.
Excuse me, Ms. Dossett.
Mm-hmm.
You said the letter of wishes is then converted into a letter of memorandum?
Right,
no,
memorandum of wishes. So we have a memo to the file. You know, you have the memo.
Yes.
And this to the file. And this from whoever take the instructions.
So why can't the memo of wishes? Okay, the memo of wishes comes from the letter of wishes, right?
Right.
Why can't that just go into the trustee?
Yeah.
What, this?
The memo, the information from the memo.
So no, that's only a guide.
To the trustee.
So
remember, your terms don't have these things in it. You don't put these things in there. Eh? You're supposed to be making decisions. That's your money. You see? Remember, now you're the legal owner. Because if I'm not the legal owner and these instructions are coming to me, what that is or what? What that is?
If you're not, say it again, please.
So if I have a trust and you constantly tell me, no, don't pay special boy here. Don't.
Oh, okay.
That means we have a shame, because you still, you never give up power over the
power, right? Okay.
Yes, right. So I need this to put on the file, and I created this based on what you tell me here and what I understand you do want, so that we guide it. And when you come back to me and say, what you doing here? I can just show you this. Look at this fella. You signed this.
So in the case of FTX and Stephen Curry, right? So the best way to mitigate loss, it would have been best that he be the settler and the beneficiary and allow the professional trustees and the trust committee to manage the asset.
Right. So they usually, right, because he can't say he's a professional and knowing what to do.
Exactly.
Right. So that's why you hire these people. So you're paying them money, but you should be making money in accordance.
Yes.
You see? And your money should pay for all your fees.
Yes.
So remember your income. You telling, when I start off, I can tell you now, listen, you can make $50,000. Only 10 out of this going to be. 40 you keep in. And you still have your capital with increasing. It started off at 100K, and by the time as we finish this first year, we may be to 150. Your capital increasing and plus, you can get some.
Yes.
Right? Now, unlike FTX, you started with 50K, they can say, no, they can say your income could be 150K. You only had 50K. Just unrealistic. You see? And they may keep what 40. You see? So that's what the problem is.
Yeah, so I mean, but now just with using that, so if that was in a trust, the trust would have already took 100,000 out of that and already secured that.
So this is the capital. This damn little Chuck E. Cheese money you gonna put there.
Yeah.
This Chuck E. money. You're gonna take good money and make it Chuck E. Cheese money.
Yeah.
Now I didn't take my money out. I didn't make that. I have that solid.
Yes.
This income, you better not have that and put that away.
Yes.
Make sure you still didn't go put that back in here and make that.
Exactly. So
You see?
it would have been best if they had went to a trust company.
Pull that
to
money
make those
out.
investments.
Pull what you make from here and put it in something solid.
Yes.
See,
Yeah, get one apartment building, buy something on Bay Street, do something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you see? Don't keep everything in, that's all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, all right?
That's
that's
I
why
invest.
we are trust because
Yes,
people
they put their money all over, they make
So
money.
it's protected.
So what we have, let's use somebody over here. Who we have?
Sabas.
All right, I'm scared of that money.
Yeah, yeah.
That money fall to zone.
Yeah, yeah.
We need some solid people. Nothing has happened
John
overnight.
Bull.
Yeah, John Bull. What John Bull have? What John Bull have?
They have stores.
Stars all
They
over.
have,
Let's just use, their stores in one area.
No,
Okay.
multiple stores.
They got store in high end.
Yeah, downtown.
They have stores in what else they doing? They have office supply
Office
store.
Yes.
They got Starbucks.
yeah,
Yes.
Subway.
They got
That's what one
Subway.
stop.
and
One family went on it now?
They got properties,
Yes.
high-end properties
Yes,
collecting
high-end.
rent from.
Yes, high end of profit.
Yes.
Mhm.
They may even have gas station, I think now.
Yeah, might.
But they have all kind of things and they trademark all of these high-end names, Gucci. They got
Uh-huh.
the
Yeah.
franchises, you see?
Yes.
So when
Cartier as well, eh?
huh?
Yeah.
Cartier.
So what happened in COVID? All these was shut down.
So then, yeah. Oh,
Did-
the last one.
He still was getting the rent because if you wanted to keep that building, they still was charging COVID, and he
Yes,
was making money off these too.
yes,
He wasn't getting the big money, but he still had streams coming in.
yes,
You see? So that's all it is. You have to divest it.
yes.
Yes.
That's why I love
But yeah,
trust.
still we
Yes.
don't put all our life savings in this. and
Yeah.
this
So
and
you
that.
can't say, geez, I get $50 and all this going to what? The bank account?
Yeah.
And then the bank will say, geez, we going belly up. Yes?
Yeah,
You know how far down the line you are before you get a $50? They gotta pay this person, this. So instead you put $10 in the bank, put 20 here, 10 here, 10 here,
so,
in different things.
so this FTX debacle is a slap in the face for the Bahamas, but it's a
And for the world, because a lot of people,
but it's a good thing for the trust industry now, because now people know that, hey, next time I want to make a big investment, it's best I go through a trust company who can manage it.
well, I mean, they may have had, but it's just that they may have said they would invest in risky investment. And everybody was saying, oh, this cryptocurrency is the thing.
How they talking? They did not go through a trust company. They just
Okay.
went through an investment manager.
Okay, so they didn't have,
Yeah, they not moving that.
right, yeah, so they were using it on
They
their.
based on my research.
Hmm?
Based on my research.
Everybody can't afford to have.
So that's why you make sure when you invest,
It's safe.
you
$10
know,
million?
when you invest your money,
$10 million?
the income could take care of people managing for you.
Exactly.
You see, that's why you set up these things. So, you know, typical Bahamians, we'll call them Bahamians. That's what they call us when they don't want to say we dark.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll say Bahamians, yeah, they would say, boy, I have this $10.
Mhm.
I can't give this to the bank to manage for me. That means they can take all of my money, but if you use your head, the bank could increase your money.
Uh-huh.
You could pay them and you still have income at the end of the day, and you still
Exactly.
holding 10 when you look you up to 20.
Thank you.
But you have to be wise in what you're doing.
But see, that's why I say financial literacy.
Mhm.
They don't teach that in school.
No,
At least
so,
not in public school.
right, so you have to, but I mean, as
you
you work in these environments, you should be learning to see what happens with people, who have money do, how they get their money. Because all them start out with little or nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why they say
Some
don't-
come into it, but they don't know nothing about it, so they hire people who know.
That's why they say you don't take financial advice from poor people.
No, you don't take financial advice from the seamstress. You gotta get it from somewhere. Yeah. Yes, that's my. I sell those books. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's an excellent book. Yeah, I have them. So it
it
is awesome.
You have a copy?
What's that you
Yeah,
sell?
I have a copy. I go let them. Richest man in Babylon.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I'm supposed to buy it.
That will kill you if
Yes.
you read that.
Well, I'll buy that from you.
Okay, I can make sure they bring me one. Yes. All right. Okay. It's an awesome book. And then you will go on to the next one. Think and Grow Rich. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, yes. That's my Bible.
Yeah.
2006. That's actually what got me on my financial journey.
Right. But you
at-
should have started with Richest Man in Babylon.
Well,
It is so basic.
I was supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't believe it's so
Simple.
simple.
It was on
And
my
you know
bucket
it,
list. I never
but
bought
you
it.
just don't practice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could do it. I can make sure y'all get a copy.
Please.
All right. So let's continue. Lord, you think one chapter, your chapter don't take, I don't carry y'all too long. Y'all just go through this long like this, no?
Well, we really
Okay.
don't notice. We
Okay.
just go through it and we
Okay.
notice, you know. It
I'm
helps us to
keeping you all too
understand it
long,
better.
eh?
We like examples.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Go ahead. All right.
Okay. So, trust income. The income of the trust fund may be obtained from interest on deposits, dividends, rental income, and loans. These items will be calculated as the gross income. Capital gains, which are derived from the sale of trust properties, are not classified as income for the purposes of the trust and are therefore not distributed to the income beneficiaries. Important considerations to be made in relation to the income from trust property are: 1, the power of the trustees to accumulate or retain income. 2, the extent to which income may be paid or used for the benefit of special beneficiaries with specific needs, that is, physically or mentally challenged beneficiaries. 3, the beneficial interest, which may be entitled to income. 4, the proper accounting of gross income and extent to which this income may be distributed to the relevant beneficiaries.
Okay, so the income of trust is derived from what? Give me some examples.
The power of the trustees to accumulate or retain income.
What the income is.
The income is the profits of the investments.
No, give me the examples they give you. What the incomes are? Your
Rental
Interest
home,
on
rental
deposit.
home,
what is
Yeah.
it?
rental home, dividends,
Mhm.
interest on deposits.
And loans.
Okay.
And stuff. Yes.
So what happens here? We are the host.
Why you keep saying house? House is a
We are the host. We can keep with the host.
house
We are the
house
host.
is a liability.
The house was
Apartments
bought
is-
when we put
is
it
asset.
right, but when house is asset, if you use it, it's an asset.
Yeah, we use it.
Yeah.
But house normally because it depreciates if it's not upkeep properly.
Right. So but we
And-
have this. Remember, this the trust zone.
Yes.
Nobody living in this.
Okay, so they can rent it out.
Mhm.
Okay, I understand.
There's a house here. There's a vacation home in the barn.
Yeah, so you rent it out.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Okay, so so let's say let's move it from house. We have a vacation home
Yes,
in Exuma,
yes. Now we talk.
okay? And that was valued at 100K when we purchased it.
Yes.
There's a hot market now.
Oh, yeah.
20 years ago.
Right, the real estate agent, what the real estate agent tell us?
The value is now
We could sell this for,
600,000.
we could sell this for 800.
$1.2 million in the
We-
islands.
Right, so we
1.2 million.
selling this could sell for 800. This good for
Easy.
this good for the
800
trust?
is a discount.
Yeah, is this good?
It is.
So the trustee committee decide to do what?
Oh,
They could sell this?
no.
They could sell this income? This a capital gain now we're going to do. What the capital gain could be here?
700,000.
We could send this over to income?
Yeah.
What they just tell you? What they just say to you? What we just read?
Yeah, it is income.
To retain income.
What they say? What this is?
Capital.
What this is a capital what?
Capital.
Gain.
Yeah, so what happened with this? What we supposed to do with the
It's
capital
not
gain?
classified as income.
Yeah, so can we send this over?
No way.
No, because what you've done, take it away from your capital.
Yeah.
So you want to now take that and make that more capital A?
That's
Yes.
what I'm saying. You wouldn't want
You
some.
gotta put that into the investment portfolio.
No, this can make us get
More.
3 years.
To buy more properties.
Yeah, we can get 3 more years. Then further down the road next summer.
Yeah.
This one was close to Sandals.
Yeah.
We getting 3 more with just development.
Yeah. So you buy
and we could buy all 3 of them with closing fees for the 700.
Okay, so you get more capital.
So now, what was 100K? What this value now? What our capital is now?
With the 3 new properties.
Because from we buy that doesn't move up. Yeah, we don't from we buy that. What happened?
1.5.
From we purchase 3 units, we increase the value of the property, is it?
Yeah.
Because they say body is selling.
Yes.
So the next one they sell now, or you have to pay. This was only, but this one will cost 400K, or this one will cost 500K. We only buy it for how much? For 2 what? Say 225 or so. We probably paid like that.
Yeah.
But now we already increased. So that money don't go in the pool. That money goes to increase our portfolio.
And the rent you get from that goes into the income.
So the money goes over here.
Okay.
That's the rent, but not the property itself. You can't. Yeah. You can't take what is an asset and flush it into income.
Give me Broadway.
Yeah. You only could take what is income from that, but you can't take the whole thing. So what you do when you do that, you eat your seed, eh? Because this your seed that you now say, oh, all I could go in there, I could spend that. Your seed have to be reproduced in order for you to continue to make
capital.
Right. So in order for us to pay out in income, what we have to do? We have to see what the power of the trustee is to accumulate and retain the income, the extent to which the income may be paid, who is it to be used for the benefit of special beneficiaries with specific needs, or the beneficial interest which may be entitled, because we may have some, who we have, what kind of beneficiaries we have? Okay, but what we call in these beneficiaries, we have
physical and mental.
We have some, no, what kind of beneficiaries we have? We have some, we have some income beneficiaries.
We have some living, what's it called? I try to get the terminology down. Life tenant.
Income and capital.
Man.
So who's the remainder man?
The children.
No, who they are?
No, that'll be the capital.
Capital.
Right.
And the life tenants is the income.
Right. So if I come years down the road as a capital beneficiary, and I realize my vacation home in Exoma gone, and you take that 700 and give it to these income beneficiaries, I could sue you, eh?
Yes.
Because what you did.
Breach of trust.
Yeah.
Breach of trust.
So we have to ensure we know who entitled to income and who is entitled to capital. And then we may have a discretion, right? There's a discretionary trust. We have a discretion as to whether we're going to pay income. And why we can use this discretion, whether or not we can pay it. Because what happened?
Because then you might be taken away from the capital.
The income may not be sufficient for us to pay out at this time, or we may be protecting you. You may be going through a messy divorce. And the very time we paid our money is when they was beating on us. So we can say, no, we can skip you this time. You don't get nothing. We can wait till the next time.
Okay, so I have a question. So the settler can, in the trust instrument, can be a life tenant and a
income. They could be a income beneficiary and a capital beneficiary. Yes. Yeah, they could set it up like that. But they may want it to be that I may be already 60. 60?
Yes, they don't need it.
So I don't want no will, because when I go into the will section, what happen?
Probation.
I got to probate. They got to prove that this one is this one. Then we have challenges to the will and all that. So I cost that out. I put it in the trust. Just give me my income and make sure my child get the investment.
I have a question. This where I use their personal opinion. On that. why they always pushing will when a trust is much better?
Because most Bahamians are not gonna afford a trust.
Can't afford it.
They can say they can't afford it.
Facilitating of it.
Right.
But then again, Bahamians do have a lot of assets. We have homes, we have a lot of them have businesses and so forth.
Right, but they
But
won't.
they focusing on the will, and then when they die, I mean, look at it. A lot of these businesses went down because people go waiting the will, and the will takes so long.
And they have challenges.
You understand?
So who making all this money while you challenge it?
The lawyers.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because we start off at what? 2.5% of your portfolio.
Yep.
And then we charge you every time we go to court.
Mm-hmm. But then too, for a will versus a trust, although he is saying that, you know, Bahamians, we have the assets and stuff, but most persons, I have a home. I don't have that liquid cash. I may have a home and maybe $1,000. Right. So when you think about management fees of a trust, you're looking at least minimum $10,000. So it's cheaper to spend $450 on a will. To get yourself caught up in that whole trust thing.
There's also an option if you providing your assets for your children in real property, that is. You know, you have the deed of gift now. And if you do the deed of gift now, they don't pay the VAT tax for the change of ownership. You don't have to change the ownership. You can actually have it as a joint tenant. So on your debt, it automatically goes over to your children because you all are both. What happens when the joint tenant? If you have joint account,
if one died,
they go to the next.
What's the next one?
So, or you could say we are tenants in common. But if you tenants in common, that means you still didn't protect your side. It still will have to probate. So if you do joint tenants and you say, well, I only have one child, I want them to have this. So just put the property in my name and the child's name as joint, because the law has changed now to provide that you don't have to pay this VAT tax. That's what was stopping people from passing it on. Now, as a joint tenant, though, you may fall out with this child.
Yeah.
Which you could,
step.
Right. You know, they're so final. That's the disadvantage. So you may have to go to the will, and then you say, the hell with them, they go fight. Whatever they go, it's too bad. I didn't do what I had to do.
Yeah.
So with right now, with the law, let's say someone willed you a property or a home, right? And they are now paying real property tax on it. Once the person is deceased, whomever they will it to, do they also pay the real property tax on that property, being that it was, I guess, a gift to them, or the real property tax dies?
Responsible for the real property tax. So if mama didn't pay it, you can't even change over in your name.
Say what?
So
like how we saying, you know, most parents don't have much money. So let's say my mom didn't pay her, you probably
you can't even change that.
I only got $1,000.
Yeah, you better go make arrangements. You have to make arrangements quick.
So suppose they were able to pay it, right?
Okay,
so let's say the real property tax is up to date. And it's billed to you. Do you still then pay it after their death?
So, you know, real property tax is generated annually.
Right.
But most of these, you don't pay anything if it's 500K as a dwelling home. Under this, you don't pay it.
I don't think, yeah.
Right. They exempt you from.
Or if you have, I think if you have 2 properties or more, then that's when you start paying the real property tax.
Only your dwelling home you exempted from.
Okay.
That's owner occupied.
That's why you get 500,000.
Unless. Less than 500. You exempted from VAT tax. Well, stamp duty, that is. I think it's up to, that's the threshold, right?
I think it's 5 or 3. I think I was thinking more 300.
What this is 500 is for when you purchase it. You don't pay VAT tax. But every year, once you under this, I think, and it's owner occupied, you have to be in there. Now, if you own a little hut down the road and you have that out as a rental, that's a commercial property.
Yeah, you pay on that.
You will pay on that. That's a different rate than residents. You pay a higher rate. And you can't get nothing registered now. As of October 1st, what they do, if you go down there with your little deed of assent from the probate, they say, no, well, we need to see that this property is being registered. And that's when you register it, they can see, well, or you got 2, 3, 4. Okay, the rest of these is ours. So you could be exempted from
okay. So let's say now, right? Mm-hmm. You got the property from your parents or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And you already have your own property, then you pay real property tax on whatever one, because of course they can say you can't live in both.
Right. Whatever you, if you already have your dwelling home and them leave you other ones, that's the rest of them you paying a different rate on.
Oh wow.
So question back to the deed of gift. Can I leave my house for just one of my children?
Yeah.
Making that up? Okay.
Yeah, because what you do now is, this is final. Nobody can challenge this, eh?
Okay.
I'll put that in place, that then register before you close your eyes, and so nobody could, that already stops and everything else.
Back to Deandra, that's the reason why there are so many siblings not speaking to each other and feuding, because the parent left everything to one child and not all.
So they live this one house.
Right.
Yeah.
15 children this year. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody could agree. So this house never could move from, all I could do is rotten now. Everybody out to prove to the next one, you can't do nothing without it. So that don't make sense. That's not proper estate planning. So from the get-go, you could have created a trust with somebody who you know. Because what kind of trust that is? What happens when the trust kicks in? You all should have done that too. What they call that? What kind of trust? Y'all do that in the beginning. What that was? What happens? How that comes about? Anybody?
Miss Doctor, you really is making us feel like we ain't been studying though.
Okay. You all have to do this from the get-go. We have certain types of trust. Settled trust. What are the trusts we have? Trusts that are created from what?
Non-discretionary.
From the will. What is called? What y'all call that when it's created from the will?
Testatrix or
That's the people who make the will. The testator or the testatrix.
Yes.
And how it comes about? The will says, on my death, I appoint my sister Susie
to be the executor
and trustee of this my will. She's the executrix because that's the Susie. And trustee of this my will, and I direct my trustee to do certain things. Sell my house. And divide the proceeds between my children. If the house isn't sold within a certain time to ensure the income, is to keep up the house first, and then the rest could be divided.
Right.
So the trustee now in charge, and you don't have all them children fighting. Yes? And they don't hold up no show because one person making the decision. When you have more than one person making the decision, it's
a problem.
Right.
So they're still fighting, but just a different kind of fight. I said they're still fighting, just a different kind of fight.
Yes. But it's important that Bahamians create a will. It is so important. It is unbelievable. Because, you know, you leave it for intestate, but the court carry you to the rope. The children can't agree. And nothing happens. Everything just rotten in.
Even like when you have the burial.
You can't even decide on that. Right. So
I don't know if you heard that case, it was talking about in Freeport, a young girl who died in the car accident.
Recently, the young mother?
Her husband, you know, they were separated. But
they're legally separated? Okay.
But at the end of it, they was trying to bury her and there was a lot of back and forth. He just cremated her. And he didn't tell the family.
Because he have that.
And when they found out, them all.
Yeah, it's trauma, but you know, the Inheritance Act, if you die intestate, that means you have not created a will. So now everything falls under the Inheritance Act. So the parent or the spouse, call it, and the children. So if it's a spouse and he's the administrator, he get 50% and the children get 50% or whatever they are.
But I think that's like one of the biggest problems in Bahamian culture, you know, because you have people who are separated from their spouse for years.
And like,
right. I know one once, I'm not paying for this divorce. You pay for it. No, I'm paying for it.
So, right.
Then 5 years later, someone dies, and then the same no good man.
This spouse come there with a sweet girl or sweet boy. Say, yeah, she didn't do this. Let me burn her body. And I get their mommy or daddy say something. I a judge.
Right.
I revenge.
So for the past 3 or 4 years, we were not together. No one wants to pay this, and now you're dead, and now
you pay that right away.
Right.
It don't take but a minute.
Or create a will.
Yeah. And the will can't protect you if you were married.
Oh no.
No.
The husband or your parent, you said, becomes the next person to give you.
No. If it's intestate. But if I'm married, what I could tell anybody.
That's the next person, yes.
Yeah, you see, he in charge.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I am married, first of all, the house in both our names. The assets is the two of us, because you see, if I am married, how you could tell which money is which? All these is one pool. This isn't my money, this ain't his money. This like a company as a shareholder. You can't identify which part is mine. So once you married, that's the end of that story. Now you could give instructions to say, I want this person to do this or the next person, because that's fine. But when it comes to that, I said, now if you're married and you've not done what you're supposed to do, you could leave a will to say how to deal with you burying or whatever other assets you may have. But assets that are your assets, even you can't separate, because you could say that's something I buy. She don't it's just my own, this, stuff like that.
Do you think that's why people avoid divorce because they prefer just to separate?
Yeah, so they separated, but you have to do a legal separation.
Right.
Right. So if you do a legal separation, you're on the border of divorce. And anything from the day I separate from you, so I separate from you in 2020, all my assets up to 2022, you couldn't claim because we wasn't together.
Separated.
Right.
Anything before then, you may have been a part of, but nothing beyond that point. So that's the purpose of you making sure to put this, if you don't want to go, because the legal separation only gonna happen right in the magistrate's court.
Right.
Then $5 to do your little summons, and that's you. But Supreme Court, no sir. You gotta find your little tutor. Yeah, that's the base. $2,500. And when you start running
minimum.
When you start worrying about money, okay, it's going up and up. And every time we go to court, we just add. Yeah, so it's cheaper, but it ain't cheaper to stay married. It's cheaper.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it don't make sense.
And then there's the same person who you have to go bury. And worry about. Like, my thing is go to Commonwealth Bank, get a loan, and get to divorce. So do what you gotta do.
That's all. Because that's what here there. You didn't do your legal separation. Yeah, some bills and all that. They say, man, go after the wife. Because see that man said the house got in both of their names, get that money. You see?
Yeah, and then in that case, the one Lavette was talking about, she had a lot of assets, so her husband went big time.
And they were separated? Boy, oh boy.
She was a young girl.
But they said she was expecting to Lavette.
I don't know. I know she had the little boy in the car with her.
His legs while she was working for him.
Right. But then the thing is, if she has a lot of assets, she has money, she has properties or whatever it is, right? To get a divorce, let's say maximum, if nothing is involved, $3,500. I would sell something and get divorced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you don't have no assets or no children to run on both.
Yeah, just get divorced.
The
but
most,
that's just it. A lot of us
contentious, the most it could be is 10,000 unless you really out of the ordinary and you have
right.
That's it could go up. But it's
a lot of us is ignore the reality because I guess most of us fail to think that hey, tomorrow can be our really last day.
yes,
and so we
could
just
walk
prolong stuff, not even thinking that I can die as a young person or whatever.
Right.
So
And
I don't
the
know.
reality is that you can. Ideally, it's not supposed to, but that's how.
Right. But I think too, like for Bahamians, when it comes to divorce and stuff, like we hold on to it because I don't want Miss Dorset to know that I got a divorce and I got back my maiden name. It's more out of pride than I know this what I should be doing.
You just go ahead because that little fella going around with a little private investigation and when you on Facebook and everything else.
He there with his girl, so that's more shame.
And she want the world to know.
Yeah, yeah.
That time you're so glad to be rid of that. So go ahead. So it's easier for you to just it is so much cheaper to do it to set the foundation right. That's all it is. So that's like you have a bill and you just keep doing like that ain't there. That there you might say get rid of it.
Yep.
And pack on that, pay $2, here $2. So when you look, you finish.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, so that's how it is. So that's what the divorce is. Tell the lawyer when you reach, listen now, how much this could cost? I got $500 to start off. Just put the paper in first.
Yeah.
Next week I could bring you $100, and by the time is this divorce finished, because this could take 6 months, I could be finished paying. Let's splice that up.
Yeah.
How I get paid, and I can make sure you pay.
Some people only be waiting on that divorce. We finalize and the next day they get married.
That's just it. So they jump from the fire pod right into the fire. Because like they didn't learn the first time. Yeah. Because I have so much clients, I say, geez, he said, listen, I need that because we get this meat. What? You made all of this? No, sir. Can't be. But that's so they ain't go into it with nothing good. Because you won't finish with one and you going. Yeah, something wrong with that.
But some people just lonely like that.
Yeah, but I mean, geez, you don't go before God play around like that. No.
They don't think about God when they get up that.
So, because they start taking pictures now for Facebook, so they mix up. They're not doing it for the crowd.
Yes.
Yeah. So it don't make sense. It's that's the society we coming into.
Yep.
Okay, so we know about income. What are important considerations we have to consider? And how we calculate the gross income of the trust. So we make sure that the expenses are attributable to income and deducted from the gross income to obtain the accurate figure to give what? To give the beneficiary their income, eh?
Yes.
What are expenses attributed to income are defined as what?
Those recurring nature which are payable from the income subject to the provisions of the trust.
Right. So what is a recurrent expense we could consider?
Yeah, asset manager.
The fees.
The ruminations.
Insurance.
Yes. Insurance could be an asset of the trust as well. Remember that?
Yes, because life insurance is an asset.
Yeah, that could be an asset of the trust. Okay, go ahead. Yes. How are we doing with time? Jesus, we been talking here.
We have plenty time.
No, I want to know what time you're supposed to be finished. I don't want.
12.
You're at 11:21. That's why I said that. How we get? Yeah. But I mean, you're all okay. Okay. I only got to walk across the road, so I'm making sure. Go ahead. All right.
Income of the trust. It is important that the expenses attributable to income be deducted from the gross income to obtain the most accurate figure.
Lavette, somebody's supposed to be reading.
After this.
No. Who's supposed to start with it and calculating?
Me.
Okay, go ahead.
No. She's supposed to calculating.
Yeah.
Alicia started at these expenses.
No, I'm reading after.
She's supposed to read calculating.
Okay.
Go ahead.
These expenses include, but are not limited to, recurring expenses in the administration of trusts and the protection and preservation of trust property, expenses for the management of the trust related to income generation, and expenses related to investment, management, and other tasks related to income generation.
So we know what are the expenses related to that. We already say what they are, okay?
The payment of expenses may be made from income or capital and may be directed by the terms of the trust law, or the Trustee Act as the facts dictate. Inherent in the power to make payments from income or capital in the trust fund is the discretion that the trustees have to decide from which account expenses will be charged or paid. Trustees may either accumulate or retain income that has not been paid out. The trust instruments would often direct whether trustees have the power to pay or accumulate in certain circumstances.
So the trust instrument always will tell us what we can do. We'll put that as to whether you could accumulate or you could retain income. And we can choose, we have the discretion whether to take it from income or capital. Why we would take it out of capital? Why we take expenses out of capital? What that could be? Why we do that?
Because you don't want to interfere with your beneficiary's income.
And what give me an example of what would cause us to pay out of the capital? What we have to do?
You would pay the professional fees and the insurance, probably even the light bill or whatever on the capital for the house.
But shouldn't the income take care of some things? Right. So what may be like a major improvement? Let's say that's an expense.
But then
if the roof had to be repaired,
that should come out of the capital and not of the income, because
that's what I'm asking you. Yeah, what that is. The roof repair is a what?
A liability or an expense.
Or from where? The income or the capital?
From the capital.
Because that's a capital expense,
that's a capital expense.
Right. So that's what I'm asking you. What is the example of? Right. So income, what an income expense may be, what you say it would be? You just had it. You just said
like with the what do you say?
Light bill. Yeah. The fella come into garden.
But that's only if the life tenant is living in the capital.
Right, but we're using an example of what could be a capital expense and what is an income expense.
Yeah. So utilities.
Right. So small little things like that.
Yeah.
Big things. That's a major.
Yes, that's a capital.
Because we maintaining and preserving the asset, and so we making sure we pay it from there. So that's an example of that. Okay, go ahead.
Any decision to accumulate, hold income, and invest it accordingly should be documented by the trustees and is often governed by the power to accumulate in the trust instrument. The time period for the trust or power, which ought not to be excessive, and whether the trustees decide to exercise the power. There must be a specific power to accumulate within the trust instruments in order for the trustees to retain income in the trust. The net income of a trust is normally calculated at the end of the trust accounting period, which gives the trustees an accurate account of the income in trust.
So the net income comes out when we then take out all the expenses, everything else. That's the net income, and now we know what we have available to us, eh?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? No?
I just have one question. From what I've been studying so far, I really don't see much difference between a trust company and a family office.
The family office as in what?
Because a family office is basically have a fiduciary duty to a particular family, like say the Kellys. They form a family office where they choose one individual to handle all. So he's acting as a trustee.
So they will have, so you have a restricted trust license, or you may be just a family friend managing stuff like that.
Yes.
So you still acting in the capacity of a trustee. You just may not be calling it that.
Yes.
So you just put this person in charge and they have no obligation to you, eh? If you just put them there. And
well, I mean, in a family office, you are obligated to whichever family you're holding the office for.
Right, but you need some formal, you need some formal arrangement, eh?
Yeah, same instrument. You have to perform a trust instrument.
So then it's still the same, is a trust then?
Yeah, I don't see much difference between that. It's just that you just pick up one particular client as opposed to you can just.
Yeah, so you have what, and you all started that off. You all have different types of trust?
Yes.
Right.
Yes? So you, and then you have the licenses that the central bank give. And if you have a restricted trust license, you manage for a family and you only could manage certain, and they have to know. Then you can't go out and solicit business as a trustee because you're managing only that small.
Oh, so it will still come under the trust.
Yes.
Because it's a restricted.
Right. You have a restricted license instead of that big open door like that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, capital. Trust capital may be distributed to the beneficiaries named in fixed interest trust or those who the trustees exercise their discretion to distribute in a discretionary trust. Capital will often be distributed to those beneficiaries entitled after the expenses related to the capital have been paid. Expenses related to the protection and preservation of the capital in the trust fund are known as capital expenses and may include those expenses which apply to the trust generally or is considered capital expenditure on the trust assets. The capital expenses may be the principal of mortgage payments on trust property, substantial improvements to fixed assets, such as land or buildings, and professional brokerage fees for certain stock transactions. In order to protect the interests of the beneficiaries, trustees will often take into consideration the time in which the beneficiaries will obtain the capital and change such time if expedient or necessary, and the amount of the distribution to be made. With regard to the capital in a trust, trustees must take into consideration the advancement or appropriation to be made. Advancement is any large payment or distribution of capital to make some long-term or lasting provision for a beneficiary of the trust. Example, buying a house or professional practice for a beneficiary to live or carry out a trade or profession. The advancement must be for the benefit of the capital beneficiary only.
Okay, so we have the capital. So we have the capital may be distributed to beneficiaries named in a fixed interest trust or those whom the trustees exercise their discretion to distribute in a discretionary trust. So who is entitled to capital distribution? And what is an example of capital distribution?
Beneficiary and
right.
Going back to the house, buying a house, and we was using the example of buying a house in Exuma for $100,000, then selling it for $700,000 and buying 3 more. Those will come underneath that provision.
So I have a beneficiary who's a capital beneficiary. They just finished college. They want to be a dentist and they need some startup capital. Can I give that to them?
Yes, because
how,
it's just
how
like
would I be able to do that?
Just like how you said, like what I was saying for the family office. Basically, it's the same way, whereas you generate capital income that if a family member, like you say, want to open up a dentistry, then they can borrow from that capital gain and then sign up with agreement to pay it back over a certain time without any interest.
No, so what we could do though for a capital beneficiary, what we call that? They don't have to pay it back. What we could do?
Let me see. Richard said it's at the discretion of the trustee if they want to give it to them.
Right. And what that is called? Anybody? If I make a large distribution of capital.
Capital expenditure.
No.
A distribution? What you mean?
What I doing? You just read it.
Oh. I try.
We advancing something. It's called advancement.
Yes, the advancement must be to the benefit of the capital beneficiary.
Right, so we advancing something for the benefit of this capital beneficiary.
Oh, yes.
So we advancing a large sum. Right, right. So we have $100,000+, and they need 50 of that. We have to make sure it works out, that it doesn't deplete the trust to a position where they can't do anything more.
If it's at the discretion.
Right, so it's still at my discretion. I say, well, you need 50, I could lend you 30. Yeah. Or I could, no, I'm gonna advance you 30. So that comes out of your what? Income. As a capital beneficiary, can you get that 30 back from me?
Which means
if I give you 30, you still have 30?
No.
No.
Oh, so that means when your income statement comes, that would be
you capital now. You're in income.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you come now to say, well, everybody had 3 shares, 3 parts, and as the capital increases, so if this trust is left, when we want to now, what are we gonna do? Terminate this trust, and I'm a capital beneficiary.
So that 30,000 will be deducted from your share.
So we're gonna separate this into the 3 parts, and then we'll take the 30, which you got from this, and the rest goes back in the pool, and you said get to share that 15 each.
Yes.
That's how we do it. Because you already get that big amount. Yeah. Any questions? So we make a capital distribution. You needed to purchase a little apartment because you finished school now. Apartment for 50,000. You come to the trustees. The trust have $1 million in it. We could give you that.
So
give me 100,000.
Yeah.
100,000 back.
If my, let's say, dad didn't leave that in the trust, in the trustee, in the collateral wishes, I could ask the trustee as a beneficiary, hey, I need a little house.
But you see, you had to be, what you had to be?
A beneficiary.
So income or capital?
Oh,
capital.
I have to be, oh, so.
You have to be in capital.
So within the trustee, they determine which.
Who's a capital
and who's income.
When we started off, who we calling them? Who they was?
Living tenant.
Life tenant.
Life tenant and
we have to pay
capital beneficiary.
Yes.
We got, so that's a remainder. That's the remainder man, and that's the life tenant.
Yes, remainder man.
So
I gotta remember.
Yeah. So.
And that's for all trusts.
If it's set up like that.
Yes. Okay.
So if you are income beneficiary, how you could come to me about buy one house?
Yeah.
You only could come. The trustee make no money like that for you to get.
Yes.
You see. Now capital, you could ask me about them kind of thing.
Okay.
So you want, which side you want to be on?
So let me ask you this. What if a capital beneficiary want to receive an income?
No, they don't have no income to get. They could get something.
So
what they could say
is an advancement.
They could get an advancement. And that depleting your money now. That's like your insurance. You have a lifetime interest in insurance, right? When you reach $1 million, they don't pay you no more, eh? So you been to the doctor every time when you just go on and say, oh, I go on to check. My head was hurting because you have insurance, but you don't realize and they taking
every time you go.
And now you have one big surgery now.
And you don't spend on all of that.
Okay.
Just going for little tiny things.
Yeah, foolishness.
So let me ask you this question. Say I set up a trust for my children's children that all of them they go to St. Andrews and Harvard. Does that come out of the income or the capital? It
only could come out of capital because that's an advancement. Okay. That's a big amount. Because the income you can't determine that you'll have that money. Unless you say out of the income, you could pay the fees of the children at your discretion. But if you say I want my children to go to school, I want them to go to college, that has to be an advancement for them to go to college. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Last leg. That's Siobhan.
The trustee is prohibited from benefiting from the advancement in any way or benefiting another person other than the proper beneficiary. The operative word is benefit, and the trustee, as a general rule, must ensure that the advancement is for the benefit of the beneficiary, notwithstanding the fact that there is no real or specific need for the advancement. The trustee may also exercise a power of advancement to allow trust property to be held on a new trust to be advanced for the benefit of the capital beneficiary. These settled advances may be made if the beneficiary is sui juris, where an outright payment may be made, where the trust instrument allows, or on the creation of a new trust. The trustees of the original trust settlement may also be the trustees for the new trust settlement, although not required. Appropriation is defined as the trustee's action in apportioning part of the trust asset or assets for a specific purpose. The beneficiaries of the appropriated fund have rights only in such fund and have no interest in the non-appropriated fund, and vice versa. The power of appropriate may be contained within the trust instrument, or the trust may direct appropriation specifically, depending upon the terms of the trust. The consent of the beneficiaries is required for the power of appropriation to be exercised, but is not required where there is direct appropriation by the trust instrument.
Okay, so the trustee is prohibited from benefiting the advancement, from benefiting from the advancement in any way, or benefiting someone who is other than the beneficiary. So you can't, this was for me and now you pulling other people in, it can't happen. And you can't benefit from me purchasing that house.
Now, I need you to explain this one, the new trust.
So the new trust.
The settler of the new trust is the
It could be the same persons.
The beneficiary.
No.
Or the same settler.
It could be this. No, it could be the same trustees. Or you could appoint new trustees.
But then I'm saying, who sets up the new trust? Who's the settler for the new trust?
No. This comes out of the trust instrument.
Okay.
That they can have an advancement and you can settle a new trust for their benefit. So you take this advancement of 100,000 and you settle a new trust.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
So you can probably split it.
Right. Yeah. So who's going to be the settler?
The trustee is the settler.
So the trustees can now settle this new trust.
Yes.
They settle it for the benefit of
the advancement.
Who beneficiary is it?
The capital.
Correct. Correct. So we doing it for the capital beneficiary because he wants now to have a little investment. I want you to set up, and I want to now take 100K and set up you could set up a new trust, but so, what he has to be.
So does the capital beneficiary initiate that new trust, or does the trustee make that
they have to approach me, because I can make the decision based on their approach to me about what they want to do.
Okay, you mean you as the trustee.
Right.
So that's okay.
But when they approach me, they have to be what? What that means?
They have to be mentally able to understand what they want done.
So they have to be sui juris. Right. And that means they could now get the advancement because they're sui juris. And that means they may be vested at this time. So they could now get that outright payment, put in the trust, and you could set up something. What about appropriation? What appropriation is? What are we doing with appropriation? So we take a part for a specific purpose. What we doing?
For a specific purpose for the trust. I mean, for the capital beneficiary.
So we take it just for this particular beneficiary. If it's not in the trust, who has to tell us we could do that?
The trust instrument.
No, if it's not in the trust instrument, who could tell us to appropriate?
Oh, the settler.
No, we just read it.
The beneficiaries?
Yes, so the beneficiaries' consent is required.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if this is not directly, where we can do direct apportionment in the what? In the trust instrument, we need what? consent of who?
The beneficiary,
Right.
capital beneficiary.
Right, we needed consent to do it.
Income beneficiary can.
They can't consent to that,
Yeah.
right? So we're doing it for a specific purpose. What you think we'll do? Will we taking a portion off to do something? What are we gonna do?
Set up a new trust.
Or what we could be doing? We apportioning we appropriating a portion of it. We could be doing any number of things to say, just for a purpose of getting it, some money generating for these people. Okay?
Okay, so well, that's pretty much what you just said, so generating some money for these people. So would they be able to get an income from that advancement in this new trust?
Because you settle in a new trust.
Yes. So
yes.
so now they can become
they are now the beneficiaries, right
of that new trust.
Yeah, because in the old trust they only
the
capital. Yeah. So they setting this up so they could now get income.
An income.
Yeah.
I see you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that one easy.
And it's much better than a
yeah. Okay, so let's answer our questions. Number one, the trustee has a general duty to blank for trust property. Where we'll find that answer.
To account.
To account, where we find the answer?
On page 79. It's right 79? Under the.
Yes.
Well, actually, the first sentence.
First sentence on page 79.
Yeah.
Everyone get that?
Yes.
Number two, both blank and blank require information on how the investments are made, capital is accumulated, income is generated, and the trust is being administered and managed generally. Where we'd find that answer? What page?
Income beneficiaries and capital beneficiaries.
Where we'll find the answer?
That's also on page 79 in the first paragraph.
Okay, good. Number three, trust accounts often comprise the blank and represent the accounting of the income and capital within a trust, and the decreases and increases to such income and capital for a specific period. So we'll find that answer. Which page?
The answer is capital statement and income statement.
Tell me where to find it. It should be on that same page. Put your pages so you'll know where you're looking for it. What page? That's your page, what? 79? You're calling it? And that's the second paragraph.
Accounts often comprise, that would be the second paragraph. Right underneath the first one. Capital statement and income statement, and represents the accounting of the income and capital within the trust.
Correct. Number four, the income of the trust fund may be obtained from blank, and blank. These items will be calculated as the blank of the trust. We will find that answer. What page? Y'all did the questions first or no? Y'all didn't do the questions yet?
That's page 80.
Okay, 80.
And the paragraph right under trust income. The answer is interest on deposits, dividends, rental income, and loans. And gross income is the last line.
And these items will be calculated as what? That's
the gross income.
Okay, got it. Number five, important considerations to be made in relation to the income from trust property are blank. Where we'll find that answer.
Excuse me. That's page 80 as well.
80, and that is numbers 1 through?
1, 2, 4.
Right, 1 through 4. Expenses attributable to income are defined as blank. What are they? And where we'll find that.
That's page 80 as well. Under the considerations. And those of a recurrent nature, which are payable from the income subject to the provisions of the trust instrument.
Correct. Number 7, expenses related to the protection and preservation of the capital and trust fund are known as blank and may include those expenses which apply to the trust generally or is considered capital expenditure on the trust assets. Where we'll find that?
That's page 81 on the second paragraph on the capital. And then it says capital expenses.
You all found that?
Yeah.
Good. Number 8, defined advancement. Where we'll find that answer?
81.
And what is advancement?
Any large payment or distribution of capital to make some long-term or lasting provision for a beneficiary of the trust.
Give me an example of one.
I want to start a dental.
Practice.
Buy a house.
Okay, buy a house. Define appropriation.
The trustees' action in apportioning part of the trust asset or assets for a specific purpose.
Where we'll find the answer.
That's on page 82, the third paragraph.
Okay, and our last question, the blank is required for the power of appropriation to be exercised, but is not required where there is direct appropriation by the trust instrument.
The consent of the beneficiaries.
Where we find that?
That's the last sentence on page 82.
Awesome. Okay, we have any questions on this chapter? Let's sink in. Is it clear as day or mud?
Clear as mud.
Oh boy, I don't know what to say. All we go through, it's still muddy. We should be clear, a little bit clear.
See, you gotta start as mud, then clear.
I think it's clear as salt water then.
Yeah. Salt water. I'm going to salt water.
Yeah.
It's nice and pristine.
Yeah. We still have little focus to do, but it's there. All right. Any questions? Yeah. So we'll do it next week by Zoom.
I have to get the link and I'll go sign on.
Okay.
You all have, they give you a link, right? They send you all a link.
Yeah,
Miguel sends it.
Yeah, Miguel.
Okay then. So I'll make sure he sends us a link so we don't have to trudge out there.
And it's the same link every Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, it's basically in your first email.
Yes.
Email that he sent you. Yeah.
And then you could just push your leg home and be writing in your book like DeAndre does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything? That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care now.
Okay,
bye-bye.
too. Thanks.
Exit this. Stop.